all right. Well, since we're in here and Jack worked out, worked on his movements for Strongman, which I'm excited about.
He's gonna do
I think he's going to be super. When we were talking about buying equipment and stuff, like no, I'm gonna buy it for him because I know he's going to get hooked on it. He's gotten into fitness, and I love that. And this is just going to be the next thing that he's going to love fitness.
It's been fun working with him because he's taken to it very well. He's listening to what I'm giving him. I've had young athletes like him come in and just one ear, out the other, and it's so frustrating to have, but it's relieving to have somebody like him to come in and do exactly what I ask and see progress within a week. Because he's coming in to do a 20-minute class and knocking it out.
Yeah, and that's what, like, when I got into it, he's just like I was when I was his age, got into fitness, but I was never introduced to anything else.
Yeah.
I didn't even start doing races until after I was injured. So everything I did was I just enjoyed working out, which he does too. And I'm like, man, I wish I'd have gotten into something. And even if it would have been just adventure races, you know what I mean? But him getting into strongman competitions, I know he's going to just eat it up.
I'm sure. Do you want to get a workout in?
Yeah, definitely want to get a workout in. We're back.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Back, and now if it's okay with you, we'll probably mix it up because some of your movements and my movements will be different.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to match it.
Yeah, we're going to mix it up. But we're obviously going to do that and just talk.
Yeah.
Right? Because this will be a good conversation because talking about Jack, I've got kids, you've got kids. I would love to be the topic of conversation, just being dads.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. All right. Let me grab something real quick. All right. If you want to go ahead and start warming up, I'll be right there. All right. So the last time we talked, you told me you don't do pull-ups anymore. Is that like a permanent?
Well, I ever since we had that conversation, I'm like, you know what? I got to start building it back up.
Yeah.
I think because back when I was doing it, there's a lot that happened that I was overworking myself. I was working out, I was doing the crazy races, and now I'm paying the price. And that's one thing, like when I was doing pull-ups, one-arm pull-ups all the time, and then doing Tough Mudder and Spartan races, I was over, and I'd end up just eating up my bicep tendon.
Was it the bicep?
Yeah, I thought it was my rotator cuff for a long time. And I even went to the doctor, and they did an x-ray. They're like, it's not your shoulder. And of course, I Googled it, and I was like, well, they're wrong. But one of the things while you're doing that I found was I was big on working my right side and then my left side. Yeah. And the downside to that was I would not always, the left side wasn't fun to do. So I wouldn't do it enough.
Oh, yeah.
So now using a cable machine and doing them at the same time I'm better at hitting my left side more. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, we talked a little bit about it. We talked a little bit about it when you were working out at your
house. Yeah.
It's good to see that you're doing this, though.
Yeah, it was that. You know what? It was. That's where I started. That's when I really realized I was working out there. That was like, okay, it feels so much better to work both sides at the same time.
Did you have issues with like symmetry when you first started getting back into working out?
Oh yeah. I mean, this left side like doesn't get pushed as much, so it would drive me crazy that this side's so much smaller than this.
I mean, you don't look like you have any issues now. So you kind of figured that out.
I mean, well, yes and no. Like I see it.
Of course you see it, yeah.
But the best compliment I've ever gotten is when people say, how do you work your left side? Because they see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these aren't people that are injured. Like I've been at events and had people say, hey, how are you working your left side? Because they see that I work it, you know?
Yeah. Oh. So we talked about being fathers. How many kids do you have?
I got 4 of them.
How old are they?
20, 17, 15, and 2.
Jeez. You got every level.
3 boys and a girl. 2 oldest are boys, 15-year-old's a girl, and then the baby's a boy.
The little one came by here the other day. Finally got to meet him.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going to be in fitness yet, but he already enjoys yoga.
That's good.
And stretching and mobility work.
So that was going to be where I went with that. Your kids, are they involved in athletics? So obviously Jack, who we just worked with him.
Jack the most. Colston, my oldest, so he's in the Coast Guard. And one thing that Jack and I have talked about, Colston's mind is strong.
Yeah.
So Colston, we joke about it, like me and Jack can work out and do stuff and prepare and we can run. Colston can do nothing but sit around and eat pizza rolls and play video games, which will catch. I told him it'll catch up to you. Yeah, and he's gotten better at it. But what's impressive is then he can go out and do something. You can make him do it, and he'll stick with you. You know what I mean?
That's good.
So he refuses to quit. So if I could get his head strong and into fitness,
I've got 2. The 4-year-old. She's starting to get to where she comes in here and she wants to spend all day with us in the gym.
In the gym, yeah.
Instead of in the back playing. So like the other day she was throwing the slam ball down, doing box jumps and stuff with her mom. The other one, she's just got this attitude. She's only 1, but God Almighty, she's going to be a fighter.
Get her into MMA.
Oh yeah, I feel like she's going to be the one I'm in here boxing with.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I think that was my 3 or 4 sets. Are you good? Are you going to?
Yeah, no, no. I'm gonna up the weight in a minute.
So I'm going to follow you, and just whatever you do, I'm going to find something similar.
Okay.
So you're going to do another set of this?
Yep.
All right.
I'm gonna go up the weight.
Well, in that case, I might go to lat pull downs.
My daughter is the 15-year-old. She likes to exercise.
Yeah.
She's on track. She enjoys working out. Not as like Jack's my one that is dedicated. Not to say the others aren't dedicated, but he's found his passion in fitness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, so he wants to be.
Now I know you spent a lot of time on the road because you went to Vegas and
I was in San Diego, was there for about 4 days, and then in Vegas for 3 or 4 days, and then came home. Yeah. Usually I'm not gone that long. Usually it's in and out. Mm-hmm. Well, occasionally it'll be 4 or 5 days, but never 2 trips back to back. I'm real fortunate that with my work and my wife runs helps manage my business, that when I'm home, I'm home.
That's good.
And so being away for that long, I could tell it affected my 2-year-old.
How so?
Like even on FaceTime, like he FaceTimes with his grandma all the time. You know what I mean? Like and he sees her, but but he's used to seeing her on FaceTime. Seeing me on FaceTime, he did not care for it.
Really?
Like his demeanor was like he didn't want to talk to me on FaceTime.
He mad at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ain't here. Where you at?
Yes. And then one night, I was talking to him after bath time, brushed his teeth, and I'm on FaceTime. And then he gave me a kiss on the phone, and he was making Mama kiss me on the phone. And then since I've been back, like he has been just all about me.
Is that the hardest part about traveling right now?
Oh yeah. Like I like traveling, but I don't like being. The plan is to, like, if I could travel with the family more. Oh. Like next week, we're going as a family out of town.
Oh really? Where
yeah. We're going to just outside of Cancun. We're going to Mexico. So we're going. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to Colorado this week, and the girls are staying here. They're staying with our aunt or mom, or Alex's mom. So it's going to be tough. We're going to be gone from Wednesday morning till Monday.
Oh, yeah, it is going to be long.
Especially, I mean, 4 and 1, like they don't know what's going on.
And I'll tell you, I mean, not to say the 4-year-old's not, but your 1-year-old is a daddy's girl.
She is. She is a daddy's girl. Like last night, she woke up in the middle of the night crying. I went and got her, and I was just going to rock her, put her back to sleep, but we ended up both sleeping on the couch all night.
Oh, how awesome is that?
I love it.
I know.
Yeah. It sucked this morning when I had to hand her off to Alice because, like, normally I can just get up and go to work, but I'm like, hey, you got to take the baby because she's awake.
Yeah.
She woke up with my alarm went off.
You know, me having older kids,
yeah,
I wish I would have been better about that when they were younger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I love my kids, but I'm better with the 2-year-old. I'm more aware.
We've changed just from our 4 to our 1. Like, in just the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It changes. It does make it.
Originally, we were all about let her cry it out. Let her cry it out in her crib. Now she sleeps in our bed more times than not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I told you that, like, my wife's a firm believer on that attachment theory.
Yeah.
You only got so many years.
That's true.
Like, we're the center of their universe.
100%.
You know, and everything affects them. And, yeah.
Well, I mean, if they're young like that, they don't know why you're not coming to them.
Yeah.
They just know you're not coming when they're screaming.
Yeah.
And, like, it's hard to make that decision. Do I encourage that behavior to where, hey, they know if they cry long enough, I come? Or do I support them and, like, mom and dad's always going to come when you come?
Yeah. And, you know, that's a powerful thing to know, that that mom and dad's going to be there for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything wrong. In fact, I love that. It was, I mean, I've always been, like, I've never been, like, I don't believe in spanking. I know everybody's different. And can be a sensitive topic, but, like, my kids are all good kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they've never, now there's discipline is different. You know what I mean? I just choose not.
I haven't figured out what works with May. Cause I mean, I'm not saying I'm against spanking because I'll spank May. Like, I hate saying that, but you know, sometimes you have to figure out what they're going to react to. And the first time I did it, she just got mad at me. Like, it didn't faze her. It was like, how dare you?
Yeah.
I have found now when she gets into them hysterical fits and she's screaming and crying, tickling her.
Yeah.
To get her
because usually, because you have to break them of that. Yes. They're in a fight or flight. Because, like, there's no reasoning with a toddler. There's no getting through and saying, hey, listen to me. I either have to tickle her, like, remove her completely from the room and sit her in a different room and let her calm herself down. When they don't know how to. Most adults don't know how to express their feelings.
They don't.
So, you know, like my 2-year-old, you know, he's not able to tell us exactly, because sometimes he may not even know what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and usually, though, if he's crying, there's something he's needing.
Yeah.
Whether it's food, sleep, whatever it is.
Oh, people watching this are going to think we're working out in the dark. It is brighter in here than what the camera's going to show, though.
You know, I was just thinking, I always work out by myself. What do you normally do?
I've got a group that I train at 5, and I typically work out with them.
I talk so much
Yeah,
that I've learned I do not work out well with others, because I talk. I will talk more than anything.
Yeah, sure. This does not work out well.
Does not work out well with others. Yeah.
Well, we've done 6 sets of this now.
Yep.
So where do you go from here?
So I mean, that's slats. I would drop it down, and you know, depending on what, I would take it to a different level and do a row.
Okay.
Because then basically what I'm doing is I'm going from here to a row, then to just pulling it up. Okay. You know what I mean? So I'm just hitting. I'm just trying to hit
the back.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
What would you do? Now you tell me. Like I'm ready to bounce around, whatever.
So I normally pull downward, and then I go into like a more seated row. So I've got like the seated row machine or a dumbbell row.
Yeah.
A full bent over dumbbell row. And just like you, I work my way from pulling here to pulling here. But I focus a lot more on the rear delts lately. I've learned that's where a lot of people's shoulder injuries come from. They're weak rear delts, strong anterior. For the most part, everybody is going to be in balance. Your front shoulder is going to be stronger than the back because we do everything in this way. we don't do a whole lot of pulling too. So I try to overemphasize that, especially since our back has so many more muscles than our front. People spend a whole day on chest, but then they'll spend one day on back, and you've got like so many muscles in the back.
So I remember reading years ago, and this is where my obsession over my back came from.
Yeah.
Was when I'd read that people neglect their back because they can't see it in the mirror.
Yep.
And then in that same article, this was 30 years ago, it said that, and it said that there's only one real group of muscles that can show that you are fit, where no matter what you're wearing, and that's your back. You know what I mean? Really building those lats, making that, that triangle, because even in a suit, that stands out more than anything.
100%. Shoulders too. Like people focus so much on the medial, the center, or the outside of it, doing lateral raises and everything. That's a very small sliver of your shoulder. It's so much front and back. Like building that rear delt actually gives me more of a rounded shoulder look.
Yeah.
So base pulls, high rows, all that stuff. That's what I tend to focus on.
Well, I loved what I end my back workouts with, and I'll do this on other days to spread it out. Yeah. Like I'll get on a calf raising machine and I'll do shrugs. So I'll try to balance it because I think the coolest to have big traps.
Oh yes,
I think is just a cool look. Like what's this? Like Trey has massive traps. It looks. I think that is.
I won't wear a sleeveless shirt around him because
his traps are so big.
How much mine are pumped up, his make mine look so small. But no, I love the. There's a funny video going years ago. This guy's talking about how you know a bodybuilder when you see them. He said if they're shirtless, they look like a small guy coming out of a bigger guy. Like the shoulders, the traps are so big, it looks like a small guy and his shoulders are coming out of a bigger guy.
I love that. Yeah.
So if you're going to go there, I'm just going to work beside you. Are you going to do one arm at a time? You're going to do both?
I was going to do both. You go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's do it together. We'll do one arm and then swap.
Okay.
All right. Are you going to kneel down or are you going to stand up?
I'm going to stand up.
All right. Here, let me drop this one down. There you go. I just left it on whatever was on there. Oh, man, I should go turn the lights on now.
Oh, is that why you had it off?
Well, my wife teaches a class, and that's why it was probably a lot louder to the camera and dark to the camera, is because she likes to have the colored strobe lights and everything going. Hey, Alex. You don't mind. I know, but we're good. People watching this are going to be like, why are they working out in the dark? And then it's going to get really bright.
It's like, oh, never mind.
So what got you into working out? I know we kind of hit on it a little bit, but like
it was. So I started going to. So the little town I grew up in, there was a community center, which is mostly just was a basketball court, indoor basketball court, and then you walk in, you take a right, go down the hallway, and then left, and at the end of that hallway, it's a little bitty room that had an old piece of machine in the middle, and then you had your free weights on the outside, your bench press, and you had to be 16 to go in there, and I started with 13. Like, I was like, I want to work out. And I started, and every time Donna that ran it would catch me and threaten to like cancel my membership, not let me come work out there anymore, which was cool because when I made the cover of Men's Health, like one of those posts on Facebook, thousands of comments.
Yeah.
And because everybody, like I was the first amputee and veteran on the cover of Men's Health, so it was like this big deal.
Yeah.
And one of the comments was Donna saying, I remember kicking you out of the fitness center, which I thought was awesome.
It's funny because we've talked about what's gotten us into working out. And mine, obviously, I've hit on it that my dad was into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And it's funny how like my dad passed that to me, and I have a lot of experience with that, and it grew into my profession at some point. And not that you could have inherited it, but your father was an amputee, and then you had similar life experiences, and it's kind of molded you who you are.
It benefited down the road. Yeah, fitness wasn't. The first person to get me into fitness was actually my older sister. She's 7 years older than me. and she was a cheerleader in high school, so she's worried about what she looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And then one morning, her and there was another guy that lived near us, Scotty. They went for a run. They would meet up and go run.
Yeah.
And I went running with them one time. And then I started getting into like she had. I'll tell you what it was. She had these VHS tapes of dang,
Jane
what is
Fonda?
No, it was a guy. He had a ponytail, a blonde ponytail. He created the Gazelle.
Oh yeah,
Tony Little.
Yeah,
Tony Little. So I started working out with Tony Little, and that's when I was like, I want to be into fitness. And you know, like I said, I wish I would have been introduced to something like that, like my son Jack. Mine was really, I wanted to look good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think that's a bad thing to say because a lot of people do. They get into fitness because that's what they say. They want to look good naked. Exactly. I was a skinny kid that just wanted to look. I wouldn't, you know, I wasn't into organized sports. I was kind of just a loner at times. Mm-hmm. So fitness was something that I wanted to get into. I just wanted to look good. I wanted to be strong. I wanted to look good. Just like those old comics you'd see from like the 60s where the guy was like, the big bodybuilder kicks the sand on the guy. And then the guy lead comes back and he's strong.
Yeah.
Like that's what I wanted to be.
I had two older brothers that were just as much the reason why as my dad, why I got into fitness. Like they were 10 and 7 years older than me. I was a lot younger. But my oldest brother was a phenomenal athlete. So they both were. And I had that family reputation going into high school. Everybody was like, oh, you're going to be a running back like your brother? You're going to be like a linebacker like your older brother? I'm like, no, I'm kind of a pudgy little 12-year-old with a ponytail. And I'm like, I'm strong, but I have no clue how to play football. And they're like, oh, we'll teach you. And I ended up being a defensive lineman because I was heavier, a little bit stronger than most of the guys. I ended up being stronger than my brothers were, but one of my brothers, he ran like a 4.3 in high school. He could have gone to college if he.
Your little legs weren't doing that, were they?
No, they would. They were just hauling a bunch of weight behind them. So they were like, let's just put you on line. Like, I think my fastest 40 was 4.7. Okay. So it wasn't bad for a lineman. But I was also the lightest and shortest lineman in 4A. Like they had all the stats listed out. And I was listed at 5'10", 210. And the next smallest one, or the next one up was like 6 foot, 300 pounds.
Yeah. I almost played football one year. They wanted me to be either a receiver or I don't even know what it's called. I was a cornerback. Is that
on defense?
Defense, yeah. I thought I was mixing it up with soccer for a second because I was thin. I didn't want to be thin and fast. I wanted to be bulky and big. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I didn't even want the position that my body was built for.
Yeah. I
wanted to be a tailback, and I wasn't big enough for that.
No.
And one day they put me out there, quarterback tosses me the ball, and I get hit in so many directions. I didn't go down because they just squished me.
Yeah.
And it hurt.
Oh, I bet.
So the next play, I didn't want to get hit again. So I made it through the entire thing just out of pure fear. And I turned around thinking the coach was going to be proud of me, and he was just yelling at everybody for letting me get through.
He's like, you got that one?
Yeah. But it was all fear-based.
I remember Coach tried to put me at linebacker one year because all linebackers graduated, and I was the right build at the time for middle linebacker. So they stuck me in the position in spring. I did like 3 weeks of education on how to be a linebacker because I was a lineman. I was told, fill this gap. That's all I knew. So I was trying to learn how to read the running back, how to read the quarterback, and all that stuff going right over my head. If it wasn't math, I didn't know how to read it. First game of the year comes up, and I'm starting. I'm a senior or a junior. I'm a junior, and my backup was a sophomore. And by halftime, all I could do was blitz. Like if I took out a lot of guys, I hit hard, but unless I was blitzing, I was catching them 10 yards down the line. Yeah, and that's the first down. Like there's no point in tackling that far down.
Yeah.
So I went in halftime. Coach pulled me out. And he put in the backup, and I noticed we started doing better. And Coach comes back at halftime. He goes, "Hey, we're putting you back in. Start the second half." I said, "No, you're not."
No, you're not.
He looked at me like, "What?" I said, "Keep." I think his name was. It wasn't Jamie. It was Briscoe. Christian Briscoe. I said, keep him in because we're doing better with him. I said, if you want me to go back in, I'll go back to the lineman.
Yeah.
And he's like, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
And I sat on the sideline the rest of the game.
Yeah.
No shame in it at all.
Yeah, because you're like, look, let's win it.
Yeah. Next week they put me back in starting on defensive line, and we had a great season that year.
Oh, awesome. So I ended up dropping out of school, so I didn't even play football that year. So, but that summer, midfield they were known for having a really good weight room.
Yeah.
And I never missed a day. Like I was in there 5 days a week. Every time they had us in there, I was in there all summer.
Yeah.
And my friend Justin, here we were incoming freshman, and he was their guy they wanted to prep to be quarterback one day. He was tall, all that. But when I dropped out, he decided he won't play. He was just kind of just followed me. And I remember when we went to quit, and I was telling them I was dropping out, they didn't really care. They were more worried about Justin. But then they said to me, they're like, all those wasted days in the gym. I said, oh no, they weren't wasted. Because I was just there to work out. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do.
I was dead set. Like I didn't care about football really either. My whole goal was to be world's strongest man. Like I grew up.
Oh, so you did not care at all? Like, because I didn't care. Like, I didn't want to play.
Playing. I enjoyed playing. I was disappointed when I did bad. I tried, but my ultimate goal was world's strongest man because I knew there was no way in hell I was going to make it to second level.
Yeah,
I wasn't even going to make it in like D3 or D4.
Yeah, yeah. So you knew that wasn't a thing.
There was no way going forward at my size. But I was like, strongman, I could probably be competitive, and then I topped out at 5'10" because I thought I was going to still get taller.
Yeah.
Nope, 5'10", but I still. So that's when I transitioned to bodybuilding. I was like, I can't be the biggest. I mean, be.
So what's the biggest you ever got? Because you're not in bodybuilding now.
I'm the biggest ever I am right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've cut. You were cutting up back then.
After high school, I slimmed down. I got down to like 165. I looked like I was super anorexic.
Yeah.
It was a hard time in my life. I don't think we got time to dig into that, but long story short, my parents separated. We were living on my paycheck from Target, working 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
My mom was working a part-time job for $7 an hour. I'd take her to work, sleep in my truck, then go to work, and then go back and pick her up. I was eating one meal every 2 days, and then I was still working out every day to kind of keep my head straight. So I went from 210 to 165 in the summer between senior year of high school and my freshman year of college. And shouldn't drop that much weight.
Yeah, I was about to say, that wasn't really intentional.
No, it was very unhealthy. And it kind of put me in a mindset of, I've got to take care of myself. Because I went to freshman year, I had to go in and get a physical. They weren't going to give me my grades after my first semester unless I got a physical for some reason. So I went to the doctor, got in the chair, nurse does my blood pressure, and she goes, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Are you stressed at all?" I said, "No, I got finals, but I'm pretty calm. I mean, I'm comfortable. I think I'm going to make A's and B's." She goes, "Okay, let me do this again." She does my blood pressure again. She goes, "Lay back for a second. I'm going to go get the doctor." She goes, "Just lay down, close your eyes, cool, relax for me." I'm like, "Okay." Come back, the doctor takes it in. He goes, "It's still high, but your blood pressure is through the roof." Because the only thing I was eating was like a personal pan pizza from Target food court. So that scared the snot out of me. Because even though I looked good, I had abs and everything, my blood pressure was through the roof. I was very unhealthy. So within a year, I ended up changing my major from pre-engineering to kinesiology and started looking at how to take care of myself better.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
it ended up working out.
It ended up working out.
Learned from it.
Oh, yeah. It was a very scary situation. That's the first time that I ever went to the doctor, and I was like, "Am I going to die?" Yeah. So it was a life-changing experience, even though it wasn't anything major. It was just blood pressure. I mean,
but it was enough to.
It was enough to. As an 18-year-old, it scared me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to be that young too. I mean, you don't want. Yeah.
Well, what else you got to do? Because we've been talking so much, we're kind of running slow on the workout.
Let me do another set of these.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me at least even all this out.
So I know somebody's going to ask, what's this thing on your arm?
So I have real bad tennis elbow, which interestingly enough, doing back doesn't hurt because it pulls in.
Yeah.
And this is the outward part. They call it golfer's elbow if it's inward. But this is tennis elbow, so my elbow is real bad. And so doing anything is I haven't even played golf in a year because with my one hand it pulls it back. But what that does is it puts pressure on the ligaments. I don't know all the
just compression.
And it helps with not because what's bad is because I have one hand. What you want to do with tennis elbow is you want it to rest.
Yeah.
So it heals, and mine has really struggled to heal in a year because I'm constantly re-injuring it.
Yeah.
And then, like, if I go out of town, like it's fine to be on right now, but it can't stay there for days. And I can't take it on and off.
You can't?
Yeah.
How do you get it on?
Well, yeah, I have to have. Now I can get it off by myself. Like I've done some interesting things in a hotel room to get it wedged in there.
Yeah.
Like I've used coat hangers, all kind of stuff to get it off.
So I've seen you wear it a few times.
Yeah.
I was just curious how you got it. Is it Velcro?
It's Velcro, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's me. Yeah. Well, it's on the back part.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's in a weird spot because where you want it is right where it's at, which I can tell when I'm wearing it, the difference it makes.
I got you.
And I've got a piece of equipment that I'm using now that is going to help heal it. So then another thing, I have to be home. Like I started using it, it started working, and then I was gone for 2 weeks, and I could tell the difference.
You feeling it right now?
No. It's actually doing fine right now because I'm not letting the pressure go that way.
So do you train your forearm at all?
Because
you said it helps when you're playing.
I think that when I really injured it was I was doing a lot of whenever I do back and bicep days, I would end with an upside down kettlebell and grab the ball and just rep it out.
Ooh, yeah.
And rep it out.
I got during the lockdown because I was working out a lot in the garage because I didn't have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I had tennis elbow.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot of curling, like
reverse curl. Yeah. They say it's the most common injury that men get is tennis elbow. And yeah, I did that doing that because it was great because it was grip. Upside down kettlebell. I mean, it wasn't a huge kettlebell.
Your grip's insane because we did the grip challenge stuff last year, and you're
but I don't, I worry about it now because I'm always afraid of injuring myself.
Yeah.
So I'm hesitant. Because what was that machine you have that measures the
squeeze?
Yeah, and you notice like I squeeze and I stop.
Have you done it lately? You want to play with it?
Let's do it. Let's do it real quick.
Make sure we get this on camera.
Not if it's not good.
All right.
You go first. Go ahead.
You want me to go first? Let me set it to that. Let's do man. Age doesn't matter. We'll go there. All right.
I changed out of my grade.
Not the best. 161.
All right. So I don't have to do anything else?
Just squeeze it. Yep.
All right. I can do better than that. 148. Hold on, let me try one more time. Do you grip it all? No, you grip. Oh,
you can grip wherever you want.
That. Yeah,
we can adjust the length on it too.
No. Nah, it got worse that time. Oh,
it normally gets worse after.
Yeah.
Well, I need to.
I know.
Ramp up. Oh, you guys.
Shit, that hurt.
Need to ramp
asshole.
Well,
that I only got 148.
You want to go ahead and close it out?
Yep. So, might as well. My legs down.
Your legs.
You hear it?
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
You hear it? And here's what sucks is, yeah. So it has a microprocessor. Oh, I can feel that in my elbow is hurting. So what it's about to do is it's not going to bend, and so it'll walk stiff leg, and we're still trying to die. And the worst is to be going through the airport, and it die, and then the rest of the way I'm just mad.
What if you're driving?
Oh, so it'll bend. It's just it won't. Yeah, it's a protection thing. So what it does is it won't like bend naturally. Yeah. Oh, see, look, like so like it's not bending. But I can. But if I can bend it. But when you're walking, it's fighting it. So it's like it's. I don't know how obvious it is, but when I'm walking, I'm like trying to swing it up.
It's almost like you got your blade on.
Yeah. What? It makes me mad.
It's like not holding down the handle of the lawnmower that's helping self-propel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do more work.
Well, appreciate you letting me work out with you. I've enjoyed.
I'm glad
this.
you hurt my elbow.
Yeah, I had to even it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to do this again, we'll definitely do it again.
No, I think we should do it a lot. I enjoy the conversation and talking about it. We just have to work on making sure we're talking and working out.
Yes. And maybe next time we'll flip the lights on a little sooner. I know it was probably dark on some of this, but
I'm interested in seeing how it looks.
it's gonna look funny. But you'll still be able to see us.